What's up, man?
Bam!
What up?
Colby motherfucking Riggle. The one, the only, the notorious.
Flesh.
Dude, I already have Facebook friends who are like, I'll crawl over broken glass to not hear that fucker voice his scumbag opinions and shit.
That's fucking awesome.
This ought to be a treat.
Oh, man.
Yeah, let me say something first. There's all this huge national debate about platforming and shit, and Joe Rogan with Spotify, all that bullshit. Chris and I have said this ad nauseum. I'll say it again. We are all about platforming people you don't agree with on every fucking single thing. It's absurd.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah, come on, man. Grow up.
I say the reverse, man. We want to hear the people you disagree with and understand why they arrive at those conclusions. I don't want to hear someone that I already agree with, and I know how I got to those conclusions, so...
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but find out how we agree and what common ground we have.
Yes,
shit,
exactly. So. But to understand, how everyone ticks,
I don't know how much we got.
Sunlight is the best disinfectant, as they say.
Yes.
There we go. All right.
Another good disinfectant.
Yeah, right. Some
1965, bro.
Mm-hmm. Buffalo Trace.
You're a connoisseur. You always got better shit than me.
I'm sure.
Swigging some Maker's Mark. All right. We're on a hard count already. We got an hour. Shit's clock's ticking. Let me start by saying I know Colby through our mutual buddy Matt Ott, who we go way back with. I went to film school with him. I was on the GI Bill, so he was much younger, but fell in with him. He was a producer in the first short film we ever made called Bitch, which we were just talking about recutting last night.
Nice.
And man, I have so many fucking liberal screenwriter, progressive friends who fucking hate you, dude. And they always ask me, why do you keep that dude around, et cetera? And I'm like, first off, it's more interesting to me. Talking to people, echo chambering, talking to people I agree with all day. Give me a fucking break. Secondly, I'm a grown-up who can take having his balls busted and bust the balls of other people. You know what I mean? Everyone's fucking serious about everything. Now, that said... You're supposedly banned from Facebook right now? What the fuck did you do? Or say?
Yeah, so, with this whole Kyle Rittenhouse saga, some things were said, some memes were posted. I don't know. One day I woke up, they had given me 8 violations from the past, and it equated to a 30-day ban. That was 2 weeks ago or so, a little more. And then this morning I woke up and I've got another 30-day ban, 29 days. But there's no new...
So you got banned while you were banned?
Yeah, they just doubled up on the sentence.
So it's not like concurrent sentences that when they time already served.
Dude, that's like some
stacks up, huh?
That's some Friday shit. You got fired on your day off.
Yeah, for real. I consider it an in-kind contribution to the Democratic Party, but
yeah, right. I mean, we'll get into all that. I don't even know where to begin with your ass. The Rittenhouse thing, obviously.
Wherever you want.
I mean,
God, abortion, guns, all that stuff. We do it.
So are you one of these people who think Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero and he went there righteously and he was just defending himself and he probably, you don't at all think he maybe should have just stayed the fuck home or not went there with a gun?
Need to get the fuck out, bro. Why is everybody staying home? You're not scared of a virus. You're scared of your government. That's a big problem.
All right. All right.
Like, he's a little young. I mean, I'll give you that, a 17-year-old isn't your ideal profile for this shit. But, like, he was obviously a pretty good shot, bro. He was absolutely disciplined. And he did.
It's not like he was sniping and shit, but yeah.
No, bro, he shot people attacking him or who had attacked him already.
Right,
one guy put his arms up and then pulled out a gun. And he didn't lose his life, but he absolutely could have.
Right, but you see how bringing a gun to an event like that might cause the other guy to take his gun out? Like,
yeah, but
then you shoot him in the self-fulfilling prophecy.
But are you Well, I don't know, dude. A couple hundred people have brought guns to these things without this same incident. It's not a self-fulfilling prophecy. Thank God he had a gun, dude. There is an angry mob. That is a lynch mob. What you're looking at is what is historically known as the lynch mob. And they will just trample somebody like that to death, bro. And it will just be an incident that night. It'll keep going. They'll start fires.
So pardon my ignorance, but if the if he was defending himself, meaning they attacked him, what was their motivation to attack him? I understood there was something about them starting to loot or to want to just trash a used car dealership or something, or just a car dealership.
Yeah,
And
so
that's where the engagement started, but I don't understand the nuance of like how that escalated from there. Do
so
you
the
know those
footage,
details?
yeah, the footage we have right now, like in totality, shows. Well, a little background is the last 2 nights before this, they kept burning all these used car lots. Like these were the targets they were hitting.
Yeah.
And so somebody who Kyle was with throughout the day knew the guy who owned the car lot, and he said, you know, I can't lose my whole business and all my inventory. You know, can you guys help us? There's a gas station on one corner of this car lot, basically takes up a whole block. And these guys had started a dumpster fire and were rolling it towards this gas station. And Kyle Rittenhouse comes out with a fire extinguisher and puts it out. And that's what spurred the attack. A lot of the people he was with up until that moment were just leaving faster. But he was the one with the fire extinguisher who actually put it out. And they kind of like started forming a mob after this. The initial incident, the reason he stops and returns fire is that the first person who gets shot launches something in a bag at him. Like, you know, it's like a brick in a bag or something. It's in a plastic bag, but it's something heavy.
So you don't know what's in there, yeah.
Yeah, with nobody's released that little detail yet.
Dude, they're progressives. It was a bag full of rainbows.
All right.
Oh yeah,
it was glitter.
Unicorn shit.
Just gonna have the glitter bomb.
No, but at the same time as that bag was thrown, somebody shot towards Kyle.
Yeah, there was another shot.
A gun from the group shoots, and now we have this new footage.
Probably a warning shot, but still the first shot across the bow.
There's some speculation that it hit Rosenbaum. There is a bullet through his back. That is. We don't have like the autopsy.
Magic bullet theory for Rittenhouse.
But there's one. You know, they actually shot more than once, but that initial shot was like right at that moment.
Yeah.
Kyle stops when they shoot, sees this guy charging him, plugs him. The guy was going for his gun. I mean, the issue is he was grabbing for the barrel of his gun, so he had to not be disarmed, right?
Yeah.
That is the clearest case for self-defense ever. If somebody is trying to disarm you and take your gun, they will then have a gun and you will be disarmed.
Right.
And you can't.
Now it's complicated because he legally wasn't supposed to have the gun in Wisconsin, being 17, etc. But that's minor legalities, really. It's not like a philosophical issue.
Totally. And like, there's definitely laws broken. Like, don't get me wrong, but there's laws broken by every. You know, there's like 1,000 people there breaking hell laws.
Yeah, pushing a dumpster on fire towards a gas station.
Right. Yeah.
Gotta be some kind of
pretty bad predicament. Yeah, I mean, after that point, it's pretty clear. They're like beating him in the street, and he shoots the people that hit him. Like, it's not too crazy. I mean, I have trouble seeing the other side of that. I can understand people taking a grievance with how it went and stuff, and like playing party politics a little bit, but I don't understand how those
most people don't know the details because the narrative
had a lot of guns at the same time. It wasn't like he was the only one with a gun in the situation. He did not shoot anybody accidentally, which is a fucking miracle today.
Now, do you not see this? Do you not see this as a breakdown of the police, who historically, especially Marxist types, would say exist to protect businesses and wealth and shit more than citizens? That police can't adequately protect that gas station, so citizens have to show up with guns. 17-year-old kids who should probably be playing Call of Duty instead have to actually go do that shit live in the streets to protect a used car lot that is probably insured and shit.
Yeah, it's not a life you're protecting. And property is important, don't get me wrong, but you know, whether that should escalate to a point where there's murders happening, you know.
And is it the job of the
whichever
people,
way
the
you argue,
self-formed militia, to go protect it, or do we already supposedly have an apparatus in place? Now, I get the issue is that the Antifa crowd is the ones who want to defund the police, so I could see how the police might be like, fuck you, we're not showing up, but they should show up to protect a business from the people who are saying defund them. So now I get also that maybe they're just stretched thin during these fucking demonstrations and everything, and they can't catch everything as it happens live, so this augmentary militia group might come in. But I don't know, man. To me, it just feels so fucking loose and Wild West and shit.
Definitely
Right.
not good, bro.
Like that's not how we want to solve our problems.
Like maybe an
Not at all.
organized
Nobody wants this to
militia
be
should show
a
up and augment the
default.
police. Right.
Yeah, nobody wants this to be a default issue. However, the cops in this situation are literally sitting in APCs because the first night of this, a bunch of people were leveling rifles at them to the point where they actually like had to retreat. And they didn't shoot them that night, but they were just like everybody was pointing guns at them. So in this night, they're sitting in APCs like down the blocks. And people were taking shots, like these things were shot at, but they're not getting out to check who did it. You know, like this is a total.
Yeah, you just hear random shots going off and can't even tell where it came from.
All right, let's back up.
The footage is crazy.
Since you said this isn't anybody's ideal, this is what we don't want. Let's talk about what led to this. Where are you at on the Jacob Blake shooting?
Damn, dude, I just saw a horrible video today about that. I don't know if you saw this most recent thing, what the cops' lawyers are saying. They're saying he was kidnapping the kids in the car, that those weren't his kids. He had taken this woman's keys and was getting into her car with a knife with a cop that had tased him and was dragging off of him. And he was about to get in the car and like take off. You know, I don't know.
That's his lawyers.
It's amazing he didn't
the cops'
die.
lawyers.
He got shot 7 times. Like
I know that is fucking amazing, dude.
That's about my opinion on it. Like it's that's a really hard one, man. Like I wish the taser worked.
I know that's the problem too. And usually it seems like when tasers and multiple tasers don't work, that somebody is sometimes charged up on some shit. I'm not saying he is. I don't know shit. I'm just saying.
You know what we need? Spidey webs, man.
We do. Like
someone needs to invent them shits.
Where's Elon Musk on some
right? Just a net,
non-lethal shit.
Yeah.
The other thing we always
I disagree. We need not a flamethrowers. So just end
exactly.
Right.
It's non-lethal because it's not a flamethrower. We ask about this with the firefighting technology right now out here too, dude. It's just like nothing new under the sun. The problems just get worse and worse.
Well, yeah, you're out in Northern Cali where the fires are fucking still raging.
They're way calmer. I mean, we literally had the sun blocked out for 2 weeks just now.
I was gonna say I haven't seen
it was even bad here. So it must
Chris is in Fullerton, by the way.
Oh, okay. Definitely horrible out there.
Man, that is some crazy shit. How close are you to that? I know you've had a couple run-ins in previous fires, right?
Yeah, I'm out here every year for these things, unfortunately. The last 3 years they've been really bad. But
suspicious.
I was on the beach, dude. I was actually at Bodega Bay, like on the beach when this big fire started, and we could see it like across the bay. I'll send you some pictures. They're really cool. But we watched it just grow and grow and grow and turn into something, atypical.
You didn't bust out your 50 cal and snipe the fucking Antifa guy who set the fire? What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how this one started, dude. I don't know. Within a day or two, there were 10 fires all around us.
It's that climate change hoax, man.
Well, I don't know. You can dig up an article from earlier this year where they're like, man, all these hundreds of millions of dead trees in California are a really big like fire hazard.
Kindling, yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I was actually thinking about this. I think I might have even said something about this on Facebook some day back in the day, but I was doing some research on net oxygen from forests and everything. And yes, forests put out oxygen and there's a little bit in net, but dying plants put out so much carbon dioxide that it's almost a fucking wash. So what we really should almost have is either private services, you would say, or I would even say maybe a national apparatus that goes in and clears out forests, especially national parks and shit,
the thing is,
and clears out all this dead debris that not only would help prevent the fires, but stop putting so much carbon dioxide out, depending on what you would do with these things,
Well, totally, and it's honestly, dude, that's just how you naturally develop any geographical area. And we've stopped doing it here. Yeah, we've stopped doing it here while these people scrape up all the property. I mean, the property scams in California aren't even secrets. I mean, it's not even a conspiracy type thing. our states, I mean, our city governments and shit, like regularly meddle with real estate prices and, you know,
How close
make
are
their
you to
money on
San
it.
Francisco?
I'm in San Francisco, bro. I live
That's
right off the mission.
amazing. Like, you of all people.
Terrible. I got stuck
That
with it.
actually explains why you're there. It's like Gotham made Batman, San Francisco made the Joker, essentially.
It's about to, dude. Holy shit. This place is particularly bad, though. It's a fucking joke. It's really sad. When I was growing up, this place was awesome. I'm from north of here, about an hour. A little more weed
Murder
country.
Mountain.
Yeah, not that far, but halfway there. And growing up, the city was awesome, dude. It was fucking beautiful. One of the coolest things ever. Between San Francisco and Berkeley, you could find anything, do anything, and everybody was like cool.
It's always looked and seemed like an amazing place to me, but yeah, I mean, and I don't know if can you directly attribute it to leftist leadership, or does it have something to do with Silicon Valley coming there and inflating the price of everything? Which that's
I mean, that's the real estate scam, dude. Is like they pay kids right out of college, you know, enough money that they can pay $5,000 a month for an apartment. That's not worth it. It's in the Tenderloin. It's horrible. Nobody should be there.
Right, and it fucks every working class or under person, and hence you have a massive homeless problem. But so what should government do then to fix a problem like that? Because that's just a private business choosing to pay people what it wants to pay them or feels they're worth, right? So
well, no, because the valuations are you know, inflated bullshit ass numbers, dude. It's so like they claimed Uber was worth $40 billion and WeWork was worth like trillions of dollars, dude.
I mean, something's worth whatever someone's willing to pay.
Yeah, that's the stock market at work, essentially, usually, right? Or, you know, just that the value is being driven by the perception of the public.
Yeah, the perception. I mean, the media's involvement with all these things is paramount.
But that's like why. That's why a baseball card is worth so much, or whatever. Anything, a work of art is worth what someone's willing to pay for it. So when you say prices are inflated, it's kind of weird. It's like they're inflated because wealth is concentrated in a certain area, and only these people can pay so much more than anyone else. And I don't know. It just seems to me.
Would you believe me if I told you there were people who could print money out of thin air?
All right, talk about that, please, because Chris and I were talking about this the other night.
Yeah, I mean, in you know, in our environment, like we buy and sell goods, and you can build some amount of capital based on
give me a
margin you can present. Yeah.
Let me tee you up then. The other day I posted an article on Facebook, which we'll reference a lot because we mine a lot of shit from there. That's how we met you.
Definitely.
So I posted an article that said, had the average median wage escalated with growth, the average median wage today would be $105,000 a year, which is obviously not the case. And we've seen wealth concentrated. They say CEOs making 400 times workers since 1971 or whatever. And a friend of mine, Peter, who I won't give the last name of because he wants to use a pseudonym as a producer in our film Cactus Jack, he posted a link that was what the fuck happened in 1971.org. Are you familiar with this link? You might be. WTF.
A little bit. I don't know if he's talking about breaking off the gold standard completely.
Yeah, that's all it is a list of fucking charts. It doesn't have any narrative, doesn't say a fucking word. It's just like 100 charts that show the correlation.
I think I've seen that before. Yeah.
I'll say the correlation. I don't know if it's the causation, but the correlation between going off the gold standard. And then I found an interesting Reddit thread that was a bunch of people saying, well, there's this factor, that factor, this factor, that factor. I mean, do you think this one thing happens and it, you know, is the sole driving factor? No, a lot of things happen. But talk to us who aren't as familiar as you with the Fed and how all this shit works as far as printing money goes. Because Chris and I got into a layman's discussion about the gold standard exactly.
Well, and I worked on Wall Street for a couple of years, and I know a couple of these things. But the long and short of it, dude, is just that on this side of the financial apparatus, the thing that actually funds these projects, the way it prints that money and gets it out into the market is by these faulty valuations. They decide this company is going to be the one we pick, and we pick this winner. And so we all agree and we all do these interviews, and we all say the same thing, that this company is a purple unicorn. It's worth $40 billion. And
so the Teslas of the world, the whatever other pet rock fucking companies that pop up now, is a lot of that because they're subsidized by the government, so it's already a sure thing to a degree? I mean, Solera wasn't, obviously, but
yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, there are instances of being very cozy to the government. Elon Musk is very cozy to the government, but he also fucking prints his own money, dude. That guy makes a ton of money and pays
Right.
back his loans and shit. Like, I'd put him in a different category. He seems, actually driven to invent new things and bring new products to market and stuff. And that's important. I think we should subsidize that to some extent.
Good to hear. I agree with that.
It's not the same as something like Amazon, which is so cozy with the government and so vested in the infrastructure that we're dependent on now, that it's the idea that it's this marketplace where we interact with it is a very, very tiny part of what Amazon actually is. And people don't know this, but Amazon is literally the cloud. The cloud that exists that everybody pays for services on is this invention of Amazon, and our government's completely tied to it. All our legislation at this point says that everything has to be held in these redundancies on the cloud, and they're all managed by Amazon at the end of the day.
So even like say Microsoft's cloud service, you're saying is
they have Azul or
like
Azure
ultimately
or something like that.
They have what?
Azul. It's called Azul or Azure, one of those.
Okay. Oh.
And it's the problem is they all pay for each other's server space, and that's how it works. The problem is Amazon overwhelmingly owns the most, and Google.
It's kind of like the early days of telephone lines when they first started being run, and you would get these monopolies and then price fixing between the companies to escalate prices, and then the government got involved, etc.
Imagine if Pac Bell bought like all the military robotics companies in 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Before we broke them up. Like, the amount of power that's been concentrated in the Silicon Valley pyramid scheme is ungodly, dude.
And the goal of that was just like an old boys network sort of situation where they're doing it just to benefit their buddies and themselves, and that's the motivation.
Crony corruption.
I mean, no, dude, there is the issue of developing this new technology. Like, there is the issue of we better fucking control it, and more than China. Like,
so
there are tons of military interests in this, and media interests, and everybody has some share. One of the problems that's like hard to wrap your head around is like the way technology disrupted those companies very early on, like disrupted advertising and disrupted media, like just by people having access and choices beyond the TV, it disrupted a lot of these things.
Yeah.
There are a few holdouts. There are a few things that haven't been disrupted, mostly because they're so close to the government. Pharmaceutical is a big one. Education not being disrupted by all this technology is a sick joke. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, they're definitely utilizing the technology, especially now. Yeah, as we're in COVID.
Like, this is almost a way probably to capture a lot of that. You know what I mean? Like, this keeps them relevant for the time being. But their curriculum is shit, bro. And technology is going to
disagree with that. Hey, my wife's a teacher, and I'm not going to disagree with that. And
it's not their, it's like definitely not the teacher's fault. Like, exactly. God bless every fucking teacher.
It's systemic, as we were saying the other day.
And I'm saying no offense to the teachers is what I mean when I say that.
They're used as hostages, bro. Like, they're held as, a human shield to protect a special interest union. That is these fucking lawyer fucks, these assholes, dude.
And then meanwhile, you see us just plummet down the world ranks of literacy and fucking mathematics and STEM and.
Oh, dude, and beyond the metrics, bro, society is crumbling. Like, society is breaking down in ways that, like, we've only read about. We've been so fortunate not to really witness this, but like right now, it's at such a the gears are grinding and stopping.
Dude, this sucks because I feel like we could talk for 6 hours. I know the clock is ticking. Let me circle real back quick on that gold standard shit and printing money, because that's something we started on but tangented off of, and I'm curious.
Yeah. All I really wanted to say is like the gold standard is the idea is very sound. The fact that it was tied to gold is fucking irrelevant.
Yeah,
the gold part of it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But the
idea with that,
if some asteroid gets mined for 1,000 times the gold in the world someday, you know, it's not something you want your value tied to.
Exactly.
Right. But we've seen with our, you know, we see this massive Achilles heel with modern monetary theory, where if we build the central bank and you know, can print money to dominate and use our position in the world, like, that's good. The problem is China did the same thing and owns half our fucking government and has basically already operated at a loss long enough to absorb the critical parts of our economy, the production side. And that's very real control in modern terms. In modern terms, you don't need a bunch of guys with guns. You do need the fucking conveyor belt pumping out the cheap plastic shit.
What's interesting about that is much of the motivation for that was low labor cost, and as we automate more and more, that actually will shift again. So they have stolen
as technology develops.
Yes, exactly. So that's what we need to brace for next. Yeah, exactly. But that means a bunch of unemployed people unless they fill other roles. If that, you know, that's...
Let me ask, where does a libertarian cat like you, free market guy who's saying these things but acknowledging the conveyor belt as the power and as technology, which we need to increase, and it will, regardless if we want to it or not, or want it to or not, will increase to the point where labor is made even more obsolete. Where are you at on like an Andrew Yang and his philosophy? Because that's pretty much where we're at.
I mean, I do understand that argument. To me, that's a way better thing to be talking about on a debate stage right now than, you know, what all these guys are talking about. Like, this is a very important discussion to have.
Yeah.
One of the craziest things I've seen automated. So I worked with augmented reality like 5 years ago to develop like training software.
Sweet.
Where you could literally pop the hood of a car and it would scan it and give you... give you the likely diagnosis and even like order, you know, suggest the part to order and shit.
Beautiful.
Like that.
I love that shit.
Beautiful. Yeah.
One of the craziest things I've seen, one of my buddies is a sheet metal union guy. And because of the COVID stuff, he got sent an iPad with like his courses on it, because they're not going to meet up for class anymore. They're going to do this augmented thing. And this is totally built to, you know, put a headset on and do it, but it's just on his iPad. And you could literally learn how to take apart and repair everything he comes across on a given day, dude. And you can do it in 2 days. I mean, you can do it in
democratizes the shit out of education. Yes. Like, our education system is childcare, let's be honest.
Right.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And most of our institutions are, right?
It's not the place to go. But the problem with that is it's because of this industrialized, people have to be fucking laborers, and there has to be like, if wages were higher, a single parent could work. And you wouldn't need two parents to both be working, and latchkey kids who need to be watched and shit and educated, etc. So the wage stagnation is a fucking problem. How do you increase that? Because you're a guy who I know historically is against even a minimum wage, right? You think having no minimum wage would increase wages?
Wages? Well, I think wages give you better information, and that information is how we determine wages and price and everything. Right now, or one of our big problems, dude, right on top of that is the unions. Like, not every single union or anything, but the heavy hitters, dude. The education union, the prison guard union, the police union. These things are too powerful for their own good. And I'm sure that goes to longshoremen and these things that I just don't know about. Yeah, I just don't know about them. Yeah, I mean, Hollywood, bro. Like, what the fuck? Come on.
Hey, if it helps, we're in arrears with the Writers Guild, all right?
But no, everybody is.
We owe
dues. Everybody has problems with it all the time. But how do you break it? You know what I mean? Like,
well, and the problem is that how do you? Well, Chris has brought this up before, and this is a very interesting point to bring up with someone like you. Is a bunch of people who have a common interest in work in a similar sector, is them getting together and banding together to demand more collectively not a sort of form of free market?
Oh, it absolutely is. The problem is these amalgamations they've become, and like they've been
they get
corrupt for
corrupted.
way longer than we've been alive. Like that's one of the problems is we sit here arguing theory, but like the things that have actually happened before we were even alive, dude, have put this train on tracks that like
we talk
fucked.
all the time too about inheriting these systems we're fucking stuck in and confined to.
For sure, and like the unions is one of these things where like the selling points are great. And,
and you admit they were vital in their day, right? The triangle shirtwaist fire, etc. I mean, come on.
Absolutely, people just get stepped on otherwise, yeah.
There's no, like, I don't think you can have, and like, to be fair, like, I might be less libertarian at this point because these people have fucking gone off the rails a little bit, but it's election year. Everybody is.
True.
But they, like, fuck, I lost my train of thought. I forgot.
Well, we're talking about can unions not get together and band together? Is that not sort of a form of the free market?
On the theoretical side, and like the of course you need to protect people's right to do that. Like absolutely. One of the things that the libertarians really get lost in the weeds about is like, you know, corporations can do whatever they want, but like you can't protect any environment of liberty or freedom or anything if you can't have the antitrust laws. Right. If you can't say
it needs to be regulated at least to some degree.
Refreshing to hear you say that, because this is the nuance we never get into in this fucking Facebook thing where we're posting back and forth. So we should do this shit more often, to be honest.
Yes.
I told you for ages we should have a podcast called The Pussy and the Cunt. I'm the pussy, you're the cunt.
I'm down, bro. I'm down. I'm working on one right now. Actually, I've been seeing this girl recently, and we're trying to build a platform, but we want to open really hard with relationships, and the way this like quarantine and shit has just destroyed people.
That's nice too, because I know you as such a political animal, but that's cool to see you doing something that's just very human and small scale, because that really is at the end of the day what the fuck might help us get out of half of these morasses and quicksands that we're fucking caught up in. Because I mean, if it just be cool to your neighbor, if it starts there,
yes,
respect
is common humanity.
Takes part of itself, you know.
Absolutely.
Talk to
like,
people.
That's one of the things. We haven't agreed on shit, dude, for like 5 years. We've talked, right? But I have a total veneer of respect to you, right? Like, I even if we disagree and I like poke fun or something, like at the end of the day, the fact that like you're still willing to engage and you know poke fun at these things is really important. And the people who don't value that or don't understand that that's actually what it takes. That's what's important.
Yeah.
You don't understand that that's relationships generally. Like the most valuable things in your life are relationships.
Correct.
And if
that's hilarious.
If the economy's stopping doesn't put this like right in the forefront of your ideology, like we're doomed. Like we're going to all die. For sure.
Well, all right, let's talk about COVID for a minute then, because you're talking about the economy stalling and what's responsible. Where are you at on COVID? You were actually, should I talk about hydroxychloroquine at all? I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I work for
NDAs and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I work for a pharmaceutical company. I can't name them or anything, but they're in Eastern Europe, and they're not big pharma. They're newer pharma, and I work for them in the realm of cannabis, and we're trying to figure out how to make,
just as that was about to spark up.
Yeah, clinically produced, clinically tested, all these things that you know the common person is aware.
Right, governments haven't caught up.
Yeah. But pharmaceutical industry is willing to burn a bunch of money to figure out how to.
You know what's hilarious? All right, everyone remembers Blockbuster Video and shit, right?
Oh yeah.
There's Family Video. And it's pretty much online now. They just sell used DVDs and shit. But here in West Dallas, outside of Milwaukee, kind of in the confines of Milwaukee County, there's a Family Video store still. So there's a fucking video store you can go in and rent shit at. Now they sell a shitload of CBD. That's probably how they make CBD, dude. It's fucking hilarious.
Good pivot. That's fucking great.
Yeah, exactly. Like this shit is not working out. Fuck Netflix.
They read the tea leaves.
So anyway, with COVID, dude, last year I was in over 20 countries for this pharmaceutical company, looking at their assets and everything related to cannabis and what they're trying to do. And I was supposed to be moving to Germany and working in Italy a lot in 2020. In fucking March, I was supposed to be in China, dude, for Goldman, looking at the largest specialty paper mill, like the largest paper production facility in the
I want to see
world.
what that fucking place looks
Crazy.
like. Some Blade
I want to
shit,
see it. I
probably.
want to see it. They want to
See some
retrofit
Ukrainian dude up at the top just trying to, you know, popcorn and shit.
Hunter Biden.
Yeah, for sure. French, dude. It was the French had
Yeah,
this
right.
Oh, there you
They
go.
were really early into Hong Kong, and this is one of the first things they invested in China, like back in the day.
See, man,
But
I will admit, most people, and I will say a lot of my lefty friends, myself included, this is why I try and at least reach out and find other, you know, sources of information. Shit, most people don't know any of that. It's like you've actually traveled to these places with a business interest, so you kind of truly get a lay of the land to say that the French were early into Hong Kong and they have their fingers in the fucking paper.
For Goldman Sachs, bro. Like they're still Goldman's presence there.
Shit,
and
yeah.
like they're really fucked by, you know, everything going on too. But anyway, this paper mill wanted to retrofit, you know, a percentage of their infrastructure for hemp and identify the correct hemp products to start.
Because it's the next big thing.
Yes, makes sense.
It's the big thing right now, and nobody even knows what the fuck to do with it. It's super funny. There's so much.
Let me ask you something real quick. Is the CBD market kind of fool's gold in the sense that I've read several studies that say CBD is great, but in concert with actual THC is where you really get the benefit. Yeah, so all these people buying CBD, there's some Emperor's New Clothes shit where they're all buying all this, even full spectrum CBD that doesn't have even enough THC to catalyze it really to make it worth shit. So everyone's just fucking drinking nothing, basically, just olive oil and shit.
So most of the problem is actually that those don't have any CBD in them either. Like most of those products were taking advantage of the Wild West situation.
What about like the Charlotte's Web, like the early in?
Dude,
those ones
that
are
shit
legit
is
or no?
Great. Charlotte's Web is great.
That's all I've ever bought, at least.
The Stanley brothers, the Stanley brothers that run that are very cool guys. Those dudes are authentic as.
So they came in with the legit shit, and everyone else is just selling like tiger penis soup and shit, basically.
They definitely popularized it and created a product that people could get their hands on that was real.
Of course, I don't mean everyone. I mean, of course, there's, I'm sure, a giant handful of companies doing legit shit, but the point is there's a ton of garbage. Like Family Video might be selling fucking olive oil. You know,
it's hard to say, dude. They might have done research and have a good product, because all of a sudden, like, one of the things that's happening, dude, is this industry is moving so far, so fast that, like, if you read something from fucking 2017 about it, like, it's already been illegalized and legalized and defunded and refunded. You know,
actually, let me back up and reiterate real quick though. When I say they're selling olive oil, I don't just mean because the product as CBD would be inferior or not. I'm talking about how actively using THC in concert with it makes it actually fucking work. Like I've read at least 3 studies where exactly where so you're getting it. It's not doing harm, but it's not doing what it could be doing if you smoked a joint.
Totally. Well, and just generally, like all the cannabinoids.
Right.
There's 160 of them at this point. Like there's hella cannabinoids, and honestly, CBG is the next one. THCV after that. These things have incredible medical properties that are.
They're gonna have to come up with cute names for this shit.
Right. Totally. The problem is they're all cannabidiol, whatever. Right. Exactly. Like they're all canna, whatever. CBD is like a relatively new compound in terms of our understanding, but the way it does its medicine, like the way it helps your body, this is what the pharmaceutical industry needs to figure out how to get through their own process. This with entourage effect, they call it, where, you know, you can look at all these cannabinoids basically like the alphabet, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, you know. THC might come in and hit A, F, Y, X. CBD might come in and hit B, C, D. And these are all these different receptors that are already in your body that just light up your brain. I mean, again, our understanding of it is not super sick.
Yeah.
It's not that scientific. It's not.
But obviously, inflammation, you know,
Well,
these
receptors lighting up allow your body to, you know, respond in kind and like do the proper function that your body internally does. And inflammation is one of the main ones. And that's just a catch-all term, right? Like that just is saying something is agitated and this calms it. Well, when something does that like all over your body for fucking 6 hours straight and doesn't have a clear side effect other than like you're fucking giggling, maybe hungry, like
restless leg. Oh yeah, I see what you. Yeah.
The miracle medicine, dude. Like it really is something that.
Well, and it feels like
I've been a believer for a long time.
And like anybody who's honest, bro, and like you know has some pain or goes through something, like you experience these pharmaceutical things, and they're.
I love those videos. Some of the best videos are old ladies smoking a joint for the first time. You ever seen these where they get like 5 old ladies together?
I've lived that.
Dude, I fucking love those things.
That's
and
so
just,
charming.
You see their Kantian, you know, preconceptions just fucking dissipate as the fucking shit hits them, and they're like, "What the fuck was the big deal, dude?"
Definitely.
And Chris and I have talked for years that we should start the Johnny Appleweed instead of Appleseed movement, where everybody, like, everyone wants fucking perfect nugs with no seeds. Like, fuck that. Let's all get seeds and spread those shits. Every time you drive down the highway, fucking throw weed out. It's a weed. It'll take over. There'll be weed everywhere, motherfuckers. Spread it.
I've done it, bro. Like, dude, we've been on this side for a long time. Like,
for sure. So you were born into it, even almost being up north of San Fran. I mean, you are in. I don't know if
when I was
Humboldt,
in 6th grade. No, I'm in Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa is where I'm from, but it's Sonoma County, Sonoma Napa wine country. But what this is the kind of landing base before everything goes to the city. So everything from up north, Humboldt, the Triangle, gets processed up there, but these are like far and apart farms. There's not the market's not up there. You know what I mean? You're not driving the cash and trading it for weed up there.
Absolutely.
It all comes down here. All goes to Sonoma County, Napa, you know, where people have their houses and stuff. And people fly in all day to the Santa Rosa airport and San Francisco airport, like trying to buy huge amounts of weed, right? Like that's just been the market forever, like way before I was born, right? When I was in 6th grade, they passed this medical Proposition 215 that allowed you to pay a doctor $100 and get a signature.
Dude, we're so fucking old. Did you say 6th grade?
Yeah, bro.
Holy shit! I want to breastfeed you. This is crazy.
That's gross.
Yeah, I got to bring a little Holy Clowns back to this hard out shit.
So all my friends' older brothers and shit, you know, all the cool kids started trying to figure this out and do this shit. And like these clubs at that point where you could actually bring the product and they can sell it were really loosely regulated too. It was a total Wild West situation. So they popped up everywhere, across the street from parks, right next to schools, like all this shit that's like insane by today's laws. Didn't really matter like early on for like 5 years basically. Then they came in with like SB 420 this next round, and this made it more uniform throughout the state, and so you could have like 99 plants or like 1 pound of weed on you. You know, you could grow X amount
which
of
to
peoples.
the rest of the country is like, what?
It's tons of weed.
99
like, that's
plants. That's
way more than you'd need for a year.
That's always what's been the huge disconnect, and how it's so obvious that most of these crusty ass old Mitch McConnell ass politicians have never. I mean, they remember reefer madness more than they have any idea what the fuck the reality is. So,
for sure,
because they're like, fine, I guess we can let the people have it. They could have 99 plants and fucking 7 pounds of it. Like, you obviously have no idea how much someone needs.
Totally. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about at all.
They could have legalized 2 ounces and people would have been like, fuck yeah. You know?
Well, one of the first issues that came up was like, well, what about how much hash can I have? Like how much other products can I have? And these were just totally avoided by legislation.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of the dispensaries earlier on, most of them had at least some kind of hash, just to, you know, like one product. And I have a hard time now finding any that carry it, because I guess they feel like it's Still
That's
a
the
little too
next
borderline,
reefer. Hash madness.
Straight
I
felony.
love hash, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and like as people have had to navigate all these stupid changing laws all the time, the products have changed, and the way
dabs and
the amounts you have access to and what you're able to make with that changes a lot depending on where you are in the pipeline. And like right now, it's crazy because some of the best shit that exists that's from back in the day, 1,000 years ago, like that you can't get it. Regular hash, bro. Bubble hash, like pressed hash.
Still cannabis. It's not like people seem to think it's opium or something,
Well, look at cocaine versus crack.
It's just a different form of it.
Well, and you can get these really, really other highly refined things. So you can get a ton of distillate. You get these pen cartridges that are way pure hash than something like what I was just talking about. Yeah. But it's literally just a lack of. Honestly. It's a total lack of knowledge too, though. Like they just really don't know shit.
What the fuck did we go to war in Afghanistan for?
Right.
Oh yeah. Heroin.
Oh, that was opium. Sorry, yeah, it wasn't hash.
Heroin.
The hash they're ignoring because it's small fucking potatoes.
They just want to cut through it with a pipeline.
Oh yeah. Well, they want to make sure nobody ever can cut through with a pipeline.
Yeah, right. Right.
They just
Russia,
want to keep it
specifically. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. True that.
Oh shit! I have no idea how long we have left. Again, I could do this shit for hours, so you definitely got to come back. And again, all you people,
I'm down, bro. I'm pretty available too. This is
whoever thinks we shouldn't be talking to this dude, fuck off.
Yeah, for real.
Come on too. We'll talk.
Even if I agree with you much more than I agree with him, fuck off. I got to shout out Terrence Malloy, who I know agrees with you. My buddy in Australia. He's an ebook author, writes awesome sci-fi books. He had a screenplay, Priority Run, which he had set up with Paradox Entertainment, of all people. Chris and I know well. Yes. They hired us for our first assignment ever. Terrence Malloy, our first fucking patron on Patreon, because I just set up our Patreon.
Thank you, sir.
Leave it to an Australian to back this shit. Peter, yes. All these Australians love us. Fucking Americans, not so much. We're fucking traitors.
What time is it over there? Are you guys just up at like 2 a.m. going crazy or what?
Who, the Australians? Probably.
Yeah, what time is it over there?
Who knows, dude? It's like fucking yesterday or something. I don't know. Who fucking knows?
What is your guys' podcast usually? I haven't checked it. I've seen you posting about it, but I haven't.
Well, my buddy Michael Gall and I, he was the actor in Cactus Jack, which should be coming out in like 5 or 6 weeks, hopefully.
Oh, shit.
Dude, finally. We've been cranking on it. He and I were doing this podcast called Holy Clowns, which was basically the name Holy Clowns came from Howard Zinn wrote the foreword to Abby Hoffman's. You probably hate these names. Yeah, Abby Hoffman's biography, saying Kurt Vonnegut had described Abby Hoffman, a holy clown, along with Joseph Heller,
funny.
who wrote Catch-22. Again, the antithesis of your shit. But here's the point.
This is Mount Rushmore. What are you talking about?
Wait. Fuck the politics of it all. Fuck the politics of it all. What I always appreciated about all these guys is that they took the piss out of shit. And Abby Hoffman, for instance, was famous for saying sacred cows make the best hamburger.
Definitely.
That's why I invoke Abby Hoffman. Not necessarily because I agreed with everything politically, which for the most part I did. Let's be honest. Anti-war was his biggest thing, which you can even get behind, right?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. Anyway, we had this podcast, Holy Clowns, but Chris and I hate starting things and hate ending things. And a podcast we found so many of them doing. Yeah, we like these long-form Joe Rogan 3-hour conversations. Like I said, I could talk to you all fucking night, obviously.
Oh, totally.
But to make it a bite-sized commodity, the way Steve Jobs made a song a commodity at $1 or whatever, we're like, let's just do a hard out at a fucking hour. That's kind of gimmicky, but it's also awesome because we never peter out on energy. We leave the audience wanting more. I'm sure people want more with you. So, yeah, we're going to get hit with a buzzer. That's going to time us out and signal the end of this shit. We've only done 5 of these, I think. So this is some brand new shit. We just started. We have fucking 10 subscribers. Feel free to spread it out to the world if you want.
Yeah, I will. It won't be on Facebook, unfortunately, but
yeah.
Not for fucking another month.
Spread it on 4chan and the dark web or wherever you hang out.
Not knowing how much time we do have left, I'm curious what the other offenses were that Facebook listed.
Oh, dude, I can definitely send them to you guys, but I'll show you
Rattle
right
them off
now.
now.
They're all fucking hate speech or bullying. They're all bullshit.
I'm sure each of them's their own conversation, you know.
One of them was
worthy of their-
so right now it says you can't comment for 29 days, and then it's just like hate speech, harassment, bullying.
Which
Well,
again, I know
mean,
a lot
what
of people.
the offenses were though, like what you posted to get those
Well,
responses.
So the
remember
only
me, like,
one-
who wants to butt fuck some Christians? They got
Right.
I got Chris kicked off of AOL one night when I was drunk. He woke up like, I can't get on AOL. What the fuck happened? And he looks it up, and they were like, here's the offending comment. Who wants to butt fuck some Christians? That's what I was saying, drunk and high at like fucking
I had to
3
call
a.m.
them up. I had to call them up and be like, my brother, he's a little challenged, and
Didn't I get on the phone? I was behind you like,
maybe
so
I don't remember that specifically.
I'm
but
pretty sure I did.
sounds like
man.
something we do.
I remember you trying
Any of you
not
have
to
Facebook's
laugh.
number?
Let me call Zuckerberg. Or I got the Winklevoss twins in my phone. Maybe
So the only one, all the offenses are blank as far as the post.
Oh, they don't tell you what it was.
One of them shows up and it's Kyle Rittenhouse, like like this, and it said the tree of liberty had been watered. That was it. That was the offense. And like, what's fucked up is that was like 30 minutes after. It was like that day. Dude, everybody was posting crazy shit. There was videos of just people getting.
So they had a meeting. Imagine Facebook. I can picture an SNL skit or some shit. Mad TV would be better, where it's some shit just went down. Everyone's phone's blowing up. Oh my god, this kid just shot somebody, and then Facebook has to have a meeting about it.
For sure.
So think of working there. It's probably this political frenzy of every time something happens, your phone blows up like fucking Denzel's beeper in The Siege and shit. Like it's going down. Fucking, and everybody has to fucking get on to Zoom or whatever. Facebook probably has its own fucking, they all Facebook call each other and have this big meeting. And it's like, are we going to ban this or not? Fucking, oh my God.
You ever talk to Ben Fearnow?
I need to. He's on my list to bring into this shit too.
Yeah,
he's a good
Facebook guy.
Yeah, he blew that whole story with the.
Yeah, that was awesome. He got beat up leaving our party one time. He's like we used to have these parties in New York all the time, full of film people and shit.
Yeah,
he's the only guy who ever. Yeah, he's the only guy
literally
who
got his ass
beat, dude. Walking back to the train, talking shit. He was yelling at some gangsters or something. It was
drunker.
I love it. I love that guy.
Oh yeah.
I love how every time you pop on my feed, he pops up to fuck with you.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. No, I love him, dude. I like him a lot in real life, especially. Like,
yeah,
I get along with that guy great. He's cool shit.
Totally. God damn, I had so many questions. Go ahead, Chris. If you got something.
Well, about this whole thing of Twitter and Facebook and Twitch, YouTube, everyone policing the content. I'm not a fan of that. I think we all agree. I think it should just be free speech and let everyone hash it out or whatever, unless it's like a direct threat or something of that nature.
Right.
To someone. Then
it's all
a lot of this is driven though by like Europe has laws where they say you're responsible for whatever's on your site, even if it's produced by someone else. And you can't just be a channel or a vehicle. You are responsible, which I think is dangerous. I think that's what they're afraid of, not only the public backlash, but anytime the government, and that may even be the case here. I'm not even quite sure in the U.S., but I know that in Europe.
Part of it here, though, is the fucking woke scolds. It's the litigious shit that they're fucking corporate cowards. They're scared of getting sued every day because someone got triggered and shit. We need to just tell the triggered people, and I've said this before, mostly in the Holy Clowns podcast, not so much here, but exposure therapy is proven to be one of the most, if not the most effective way to get over traumas and shit. So the whole triggered thing, none of you can say or do anything that triggers me. It's like, fuck you. You need to be exposed to those things to get over the thing that you're fucking hung up on,
Safe spaces are dangerous.
Have you followed the way TikTok has censored people at all? Have you seen any of these stories?
All I know about TikTok is that fucking Trump was trying to ban it because China owns it, and my kid's class had some TikTok dance thing. I was like, get the fuck out of here. My 6-year-old, they're trying to do a school online project with TikTok dance tutorials for 6-year-olds. It's like crazy.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I was like, get out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Burn them. No, but anyway, they're kind of interesting.
Cutie shit.
they're kind of interesting because when they, you know, it's run by China,
cooties.
and when they had when they had fucking like SJW sort of like backlash, like they tried to target somebody, they just banned those people. Like they just banned the, you know, vocal minority, because it's easier to ban like this one oddball person who's very loud, right, than it is to ban like, you know, 25% of your platform. And the big question is, why don't our platforms take this approach? Why are they willing to excise a huge section of the population to really, really, really just placate this?
Because they're scared of litigious shit.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing that makes sense to me is they're scared. Because that minority has power. That minority, the Christian conservative minority, can make Howard Stern pay millions of dollars in fucking fines to the FAA
Bro, that
or
was
FCC
once
or whatever.
Upon a time.
Yeah, but I know. I agree. I think these companies are ridiculous, and they should say, fuck
they're
off.
overreacting.
But no, I mean, this is one of the hard parts too with the last couple decades, is that, you know, we may have lived through a party flip. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in a lot of ways,
to a large degree. Yeah, we talk about that
and you can't tell that in person. You know,
even sociologically,
you can't see that until it's behind you. You really can't see it.
Well,
right?
All right. You don't listen to our podcast. Yeah. The first podcast we did.
I might now.
The first Hard Out we did was with Greg Zart, who is this dude who's a independent, on the ground, just citizen journalist up in Olympia, Washington. And he went to Chaz, he went to Chop. We talk about all that. And he then was like, bro, I'm going to Sturgis. I was like, fucking do it. So he masks up, goes to Sturgis, gets there, realizes 8 hours in that no one will talk to him because he's the only motherfucker in Sturgis with a mask on. So he takes his mask off, exposes himself to COVID, goes through it all. He comes out clean, never got COVID the whole time.
That's
which
so funny.
I don't want to get into that because I'm not gonna, you know, I don't
That's
know.
Other conversation too.
Yeah, exactly. That we're gonna run out of time if we go on that shit.
We're gonna need retrospect on this one, guys.
Right.
We can't tell what's going on. There's false.
Well, here's what I was getting at though. We're talking about the
everything.
party flip. We're talking about the flip, and it's not just politically. Where it used to be the Christian conservatives who were trying to silence people. Now it's the fucking woke scold liberals who are trying to silence people.
Right.
But even partying, that's what my comment was. I was like, you know what's hilarious? You think of the 60s, it was counterculture. It was the Abbie Hoffmans, the hippies, the fucking Hendrixes, and the fucking Lizard Kings partying. And they were leftist and they were anti-war, free love, socialist hippies. Now they're all like, stay home, wear your mask. Meanwhile, the conservatives are out in Sturgis partying like it's 1999 and shit.
For sure. No, this has been something,
man.
dude. I've been saying this for a couple of years, and honestly, Gavin McInnes, bro. Gavin McInnes is somebody who harps on this all the time. It's like,
the left forgot how to have fun.
Yeah, like who the fuck wants to go hang out with those guys? They're fucking annoying, dude.
Right.
Just bug you, tell you what to do. Like everybody over here is like
hall monitors, man. The left
you have a different opinion.
The hall monitors. Yes, it used to be the right was the hall monitor. Now it's the left, and it's fucking hilarious. Which maybe I'm vestigial and I'm still too caught up in being lefty, but I still believe. Again, I'm an Andrew Yang lefty. Where, hey, let's fucking Superman 3 it and Office Space it and take a fraction of a penny off every transaction. And we fucking pay for some shit. You know,
and
it's
take
all
it
passive.
issue by issue. You know,
issue by issue, dude.
Issue.
Issue by issue. Absolutely.
Now you talked a lot. The right, the left. We every episode almost make a point to say fuck this left-right paradigm bullshit. Most people.
Oh, well, I've been like that up until this point, dude. But I've also they've become communists. I mean, they've become something existential. They're against property. They're against some very basic
then
things.
It's time though for a third option at the very least, because people like us are called they, and I'm like, we're not
right. Well, it's
I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, if you open up the two-party system to more parties, it's infinite parties. You can't say it's going to be a third without people.
That's what I'm saying.
Totally,
it should be no parties.
Right.
It should be no parties.
Issues.
It should be no parties.
Yes.
It should be ideas. It should be ideas.
All right. I don't know. We might get timed out any second, but electoral college, where are you at on that?
Sort of Damocles.
Oh, you need it. You need it. We're supposed to be 50 independent states. We're not supposed to be one federalized nation, and the electoral college is the solution to that. the popular vote is not the ideal thing. That's mob rule.
Exactly. I was going to say mob rule obviously could make
Yeah.
everything from slavery to not being able to say certain words and shit.
It's just you need to break those streamlines of power as many times as you can. You know, and 50
Now, do you
different
agree
times
though
is
that
pretty
the
good.
50
Well, there's
states?
one distinction there, but go.
Well, go ahead. No, you're good.
Well, I think like the chief issue with the electoral college is that they could choose to vote against what their constituents voted for. I think that's where it breaks down, right? Like,
As far
because
as true
if it's simply
democracy.
saying that
And they
like, these
have. I
large-
mean, that's been the
Yeah.
rule for a while.
yeah, if it's simply